After the October Revolution in 1917, the Soviet Union had to beg the British to buy the 6-ton Vickers light tanks. The British didn't even expect their light tank to be against anything, as its weapons were machine guns. Under the leadership of the Center People's Committee, headed by Stalin, ordered the army, industry, and research institutes to develop combat tanks on their own. As a result, the T-18 light tank, also known as the MS-1, was the first mass-produced Soviet tank, with a total of 960 units in the period 1928 to 1931. The T-18 weighed only 5.9 tons, 6 to 16 mm thick armor, 2-man crew, equipped with a 37 mm Model 28 main gun. The T-18 first entered combat in the mission to protect the Far East Railway against the invasion of the Manchu Empire in 1929. BT-7 was the famous Soviet light tank model, built in the period 1935 to 1945, with about 2,700 to 5,300 units. The vehicle weighs 13.9 tons, a crew of 3, armored 6 to 20 mm thick in the hull and 10 to 15 mm in the turret. It was armed with a 45 mm L-46 main gun and 2 7.62 mm machine guns. BT-7 entered battle for the first time in the Battle of Lake Khasan between the Soviet Red Army and Japan in 1938. The most famous battle of the BT-7 was in the Mongolian battlefield, with its excellent maneuverability on steep lanes. The T-34 was the most successful Soviet-made medium tank design, with thick steel armor and powerful firepower. Right after joining the battle, the T-34 showed its superior ability. The T-34 is also one of the most produced tanks in the world and was in use until the 1990s. The KV-1 was the famous Soviet heavy tank during World War II, with about 5,219 units produced in the period 1939 to 1943. The tank weighed 45 tons, armored 90 mm thick, equipped with a 76.2 mm M1941 main gun, and 3 to 4 7.62 mm machine guns. During World War II, the KV-1 was one of the most powerful tanks in the world at that time. Most of the KV-1s were destroyed on the battlefield due to technical problems or running out of fuel. The IS-2 was the most successful heavy tank in the Soviet IS heavy tank family during World War II, with a number of nearly 4,000 units. The IS-2 weighed about 46 tons, with 30 to 120 mm of armor. It was fitted with a 120 mm D-25T gun and 3 7.62 mm machine guns and a 12.7 mm machine gun. The T-54-55 is considered the most successful Soviet tank after World War II. It is also the most produced tank in the world, with about 80,000 to 100,000 units. The T-54-55 weighs only about 36 tons, but is armed with a 100mm main gun. Currently, this type of tank is there in the service of about 40 armies around the world. The Soviet T-64 was a revolutionary tank, the direction for the development of the world's later main battle tanks. The T-64 was developed and manufactured in the early 1960s and began to be mass-produced in 1964, officially serving in the Soviet Army since 1969. The T-64 was equipped with a series of revolutionary technologies. It was the first tank in the world to be used an automatic reload system, a laser measuring system. The T-64 was also the first to use composite materials, rather than just ordinary steel, to increase the vehicle's viability. It is not too heavy, about 40 tons, but the T-64's armor is thicker and is armed with a powerful 125mm main gun. In other words, the T-64 was the first Soviet main battle tank and also the first in the world. When the T-72 main battle tank was officially put into service, it quickly became the pride of the Soviet Army, turning the US M60A3 or the German Leopard 1 into a piece of junk. About 25,000 T-72s were built in the Soviet Union and a few other countries, serving about 40 countries around the world. The T-72 weighs more than 40 tons. A crew of 3 is equipped with 500mm composite armor in front of the turret, a 125mm 2A46M smooth barrel main gun. Based on the T-72, Russia later successfully developed the world's leading modern T-90 tank. The most modern Soviet MBT, built at the end of the Cold War, before the superpower disintegrated in 1991. It was the T-80. The T-80 was a deep upgrade of the T-64, produced in larger numbers. The important improvements were the use of a gas turbine engine, so the vehicle had a very high speed. However, during the First Chechen War, 200 tanks and armored vehicles of the Russian army were destroyed in Grozny, including many T-80 tanks. Therefore, this tank is no longer used in future wars and gradually goes into oblivion. My video about how did the Soviet Union become a tank power answer. Thank you for watching. If you find this video interesting, please give me your thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to support the channel. Goodbye and see you again in the next videos. Tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại quý vị và các bạn trong các video tiếp theo.